Hi guys, welcome back to the channel and I hope you had a good Christmas. Today we've got a video on player traits, the ones that are the best to use for different types of style of play and the ones that are best for each individual players and different positions. So, player traits and when to use them and which players to put them on. So, I'm going to kick off straight away. I can't obviously go through every single trait. I'm going to say that at the start of the video. I can't go through every single trait, so if there's something I don't cover in the video, please write it in the comments and I will get back to you as soon as possible. But I'll go through some key ones in the video. So I'm going to go with right backs and left backs first. This is my left back usually, Guillem Garcia. 18, good potential, all that good stuff. He's more of a wing back, as you can see. He's not fantastic at defending just yet, but he's good off the ball, he's fast, all that stuff. So, as he's more of a wing back, which I like as a full back, I don't like these full backs with 3 crossing and basically a centre back. I like wing backs. So if you've got a wing back and you play with wing backs, these are perfect. And these are the ones that you should be learning your full backs. So we're going to development. I'm already doing one right now. Runs with ball down left and runs with ball down right. That is very, very overpowered in the match engine, running with the ball. Even players that are just fast and aren't that good with the ball will still be very good running with the ball. It's crazy, but it's how it is and it's how I've always seen it and it works. Anyway, so he's got runs with ball down right. Also gets forward whenever possible. Is very good if he's got good off the ball. Or it's good anyway, honestly. Another one that's very good is... Where is it? Knocks ball past opponent. That's good for wingers. As you know, you've probably given that to a winger before. But knocks ball past opponent. Runs with ball down left or right. And gets forward whenever possible on your wing backs. Are the... I would say the best 3 you can learn. I think that they're the best 3. There's also like hugs the touchline if you play a possession system and you want them to be like out ball. Running with the ball often if they're a very good dribbler, like maybe a Teo Hernandez or players like that. You could try 1-2s if that's the way you want to play with your wing backs, like passing to midfield and then running down the wing and getting in behind. 1-2s is very good all over the pitch. It's something I'll touch on in the video as well, but 1-2s is very, very good. Especially if you've got players with good decision making and anticipation. Yeah, 1-2s is very good. But for fullbacks and wingbacks, those are the 3 I would suggest. Oh, next, we've got centre-backs, and we've got João Sousa. Now, João Sousa, on the face of him, doesn't look very good technically, but if you look at his dribbling, it is 9. And 9 is not bad. Technique, 9. Not bad. Passing, 10. Not terrible. He's only 20. Still got a lot of potential to go. I think, personally, there is a trait at centre-back that is the best trait on the game. And you might have seen it when you clicked on this video. It was in the thumbnail. And it's brings ball out of defence. Now, it's very hard. It's here at the top of technique. It's very, very hard to get the coach and the player to agree to it. Right? So I'm going to try it with João Sousa now. There you go. I think it's a very poor idea. It's a trait that suits technically sound players, which isn't the case for João. I get it. He hasn't got 13s, 14s in dribbling, first touch, technique, all that stuff to be a ball-playing centre-back. But even with less than ideal attributes in this area, it's a very good trait to have as a centre-back, and I'll tell you why. So, if you can manage to get this trait onto your centre-backs, what happens is, when they get the ball, as it says on the tin, they bring the ball out of the defence, right? So they'll wander into the defensive midfield position. Now, what happens with that is a striker has to come across to get him, which means he can play to the other centre-back. And if the other centre-back has it too, then he can go into that space that's vacated. And then what happens there from that point onwards is it's a domino effect, right? So a central midfielder has to come out to press them. Then hopefully he passes it to a central midfielder, either box-to-box or Mazzala, whatever you've got. And then a defensive midfielder has to come out because the centre midfielder's come out, and he comes out, and then hopefully plays to your attacking midfielder or your advanced midfielder. And then a centre-back or a full-back has to come out to sort that out, and then a winger or a striker gets played in. I just think the amount of goals that I've had that comes from a centre-back bringing the ball out in the match engine, honestly, this year as well and last year, is absolutely insane. So what I always do is, whenever it says this, which it does a lot of the time, you click convince and say, I have a much greater experience. And just do it anyway, right? Just do it anyway, because the amount of times that I've done that and it's actually been successful. Now, I am working on his passing as well, so what has happened there is his passing will go up, his technique will go up, and his vision will go up. After that, I'm then going to work on his ball control, which will sort of his dribbling and his first touch. So if I can get this through, then those attributes will help him. If not, I can train their attributes up and then there's more chance of this being successful, right? Also at centre-back, what you can do is dive into tackles if it's a player with very good tackling and good bravery, good aggression. Aggression doesn't necessarily mean a player's going to get sent off, by the way, so don't be worried about that. It says this attribute does not necessarily reflect a player's dirtiness, but their willingness to get stuck in. So, more tackles probably means more fouls, right? That's a given, probably going to happen. But if they're very good at tackling, good anticipation, like João Sousa, and now his aggression's not very great, so I probably wouldn't do it for him. But dive into tackles and does not dive into tackles can be helpful. This, I would say, Sousa suits does not dive into tackles because his aggression is low, but he's got good tackling, and I like his anticipation and his decision making. So I'll trust him to know when not to do it, right? But if you've got a very highly aggressive centre back, don't be worried about it. You might get a red card in the season, but the amount of times that he'll come out and crunch someone and will counter attack them, it's a good one. But brings ball out of defence is very good. On the flip side, if you've got a limited team and you're maybe in the Vanarama North or South or anywhere, and you've got a centre-back that's booting the ball up the pitch because he's got low composure, plays simple passes is fantastic. Now, I think I've seen every single person that's ever played this game become annoyed that their centre-back is just booting the ball up the pitch. But if we go into technical and then we go passing training and we take the top one here, a simple passing game. Now, it won't allow him to, like, if he's a ball-playing centre-back, I wouldn't advise that because it will stop him from doing the defence-splitting ones. But if you just want a player to just keep the ball ticking and just keep passing it, no long passes and keep the ball, and a possession system, plays simple, short, simple passes is very, very, very good. Drop into defensive midfielder, and again, I've got it on him, right? Plays short, simple passes. I have also put dictates tempo on because my defensive midfielder has got good anticipation. He's got good teamwork, so he knows when and when not to. I'm working on his passing right now. It's not ideal, but I'm working on it. And he's got very good technique, so I don't mind it. Good composure too. So dictates tempo is not bad for him. He does do well. He plays very well. But he still has a fair bit of potential, and I'm looking to try and make him a really good technically now. I've got his physicals up and all that stuff. So another thing you can stick on your DM, if he's truly a true DM, is stays back at all times. Now that will stop you from getting counter-attacked, right? In fact, even if you're not playing a DM and you're playing a central midfielder on defend or a ball-winning midfielder on defend, you can also try stays back at all times. It will then allow your fullbacks to go forward, your other attacking players to go forward, and you'll be less likely to get counter-attacked. So that's a very good one for your defensive-minded midfielder. The other one that's absolutely fantastic, and it's one of the best ones on the game alongside brings ball out of defence, especially if it's a good passer of the ball, which he should be as a midfielder, is this one here. So I'm on Orellana, and he likes to switch ball to wide areas. Now, if you hover your mouse over that, as always, you get a tooltip, and it says this increases the frequency of a player looking to move the ball from the middle out wide areas with the long diagonal passes. So, with the defending on this match engine, I've noticed that teams, either human or AI, they struggle to get from one side of the pitch to the other fast. They sort of like really slow, and there's always a winger. If you can draw them into one side, like Orellana can do with his very, very, very good attributes as a playmaker, if you give them likes to switch ball to wide areas, they'll get the ball off the winger and then they'll bang it to the other side. And what will happen there is if you've got very good wingers, is they'll be one-on-one, more than likely, right? Also, this can work really well on a DM. So they could get the ball from a fullback and then they could smash it to the other side of the fullback, and then obviously the overloads on that side then. It's good for a possession game because it'll stretch defenses really wide. And like I said, it's one that I've noticed that creates me a lot of chances in the match engine. So likes to switch ball to wide areas is up there with brings ball out of defense for defenders. Now in this video, I'm trying to hit ones that aren't obvious, right? Because obviously like tries killer balls often for good passes and vision. That makes sense. You guys know that. Like, you're not idiots. I don't need to tell you that. But if there's anything in the comments, like I said at the start, that you guys need to know, please, please, please put it in the comments, because I will help you and I will do it. I could literally, if I had an hour, I could go through every single one of these and when to use them, when not to use them, what attributes to look for. But I'm not going to do that because you guys don't want to watch a video that's that long. But yeah, so one that's good across the board is 1-2s. Now 1-2s are fantastic because if you've got a lot of players that can use them, they can just bypass defenders. You can get the ball back, you can give the ball midfield, and you can go and you can get it back. And you can just literally triangle your way around But yeah, 1-2s is fantastic. Those three are the best ones on the game, I find. Brings ball out of defense, likes to switch ball to wide areas, and 1-2s. Like I said, good mental attributes for the 1-2s. Decisions, anticipation, to know if the player's going to do it. Teamwork's good as well. Like I said, mental attributes, fantastic. And obviously you're passing because you actually want to make the passes when you're doing the 1-2s. But yeah, off the ball movement too. Basically good mental attributes. He's very good for 1-2s. If we go to the strikers one quickly. Now, so for Kundo, this guy has knocks ball past opponent. I think he always had that because he's very strong. But I'm of the opinion, and this could be controversial or this could not match with other content creators or other people playing the game. But I don't like giving people finishing training. I don't like to make them lob the goalkeeper or blast the ball or place shots. I like to give my strikers the opportunity to pick what they want to do. Now, if he's got a decision making of like 5, it's 16. So if you've got an elite striker, leave it. Don't make them place shots because sometimes power is better. So don't do it because it might be from a tight angle where power has to get through the goalkeeper and he'll do a place shot and it's just not ideal. So let them decide, I think, as a striker, in my opinion. What we also could talk about are the wingers. So obviously, a really good one for wingers is likes to be offside trap. Now, it's something I'm going to be training to Manales right now. That's why I did this video, because I've got a few traits that I need to learn because they've got players now that are becoming very good players. So there you go. He'll get that, I think. He'll have good anticipation, which is 13. It can get better. Good decision making, good off the ball, and likes to be offside trap. It's very good to get in behind. Obviously, you've got to have a guy that's good at it, and you've got to have passers of the ball in your team that can make it happen. But likes to be offside trap is a very good one for your front men, especially if they've got good off the ball, anticipation, and decision making. So that's a staple one across your front lot. Very, very good. I also like the one in central midfield. But, as you can see there, gets forward whenever possible. Now, this is very good for a centre midfielder on attack or a Mazzala on attack because it says this increases the frequency with which player will make forward runs, adjusting for team mentality and the role they're playing. But the other one that's very good, obviously I can't give him it because he's injured. So let's go back to Cañeda. The other one that's very good, if we go to movement training, is where this one here. So gets into opposition area. That is very, very good, especially with a good decision making, off the ball, anticipation. Again, those three attributes are very key for midfielders, especially ones that get into the box. But gets into opposition area is fantastic. It's good for a lot of positions, to be honest. I would also say that runs with ball often. Again, it's an obvious one, but that's a good one for wingers. But there's not a massive amount of traits that you need to overdo with your players. There's a lot of things though down here. There's so many. There's long range passes. There's ones if you want the player to ask for the ball into feet. That's very good for a defensive midfielder. So your centre backs look for his feet, so they don't go in behind. If you can train your midfielders to want the ball into their feet, it's very good. Maybe don't do that for your central midfield on attack or Mazzala because they want to get in behind a bit. But maybe your box to box or your deep line playmaker or your defensive midfielder, regista, whatever you use, roaming playmakers. If you want them to get the ball to feet and less long passes, if you train your centre backs to have short, simple passes and your midfielders to want the ball into feet, those two together should hopefully, in the long run, make less long passes to no one, which you see a lot in the match engine. So traits are very good because it's like a personality of a player. It's like a habit and a personality. They actually used to be called player preferred moves. Now they're called player traits. So they're very, very good and they override a lot of the tactics. So it's something that they will do regardless. So they're very, 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 very good things. Very ideal. And there's certain things as well that can win you trophies. So you could be in the top 4 race. But good traits on your players could honestly win you a title. Or you could be getting to the quarterfinal or semi-final of the Champions League, but traits could win you the Champions League. It could get you that promotion you're after because your players are more finely tuned to your tactic, etc. So they're the ones that I would put on the players. But after that, we've got things that suit style of play. So obviously, if you're doing a counter-attacking system, you want things like killer balls often because obviously you want your midfielders to get the ball, bang, in behind. We've also got things like, for possession-based systems, as I said before, you've got wing-backs that can hug the touchline, so they're always an option out there. You've got players looking for the ball to feet, you've got short, simple passes, you've got all that stuff that you can use for possession systems. Another thing as well that could be useful, I didn't want to make it a long video, but I wanted to name a few that I like that aren't very obvious. There's also things like fewer long shots, if you've seen a lot of long shots. Long range free kicks or power free kicks if you've got someone that takes free kicks. Just free kicks are very overpowered in the match engine, as always. But yeah, that's about it. I don't want these videos to be massively long, but I want to hopefully give you something to think about. Even if you don't necessarily agree with what I'm saying, maybe some of you are playing the game and thinking, oh, do you know what, Lewis? Yeah, I've been trundling along. I'm in 2030 and I've not used traits. I could use them to get an extra little 5-10% out of my tactic and my players to maybe get that promotion or win that title. Thank you for watching, guys, as always. There's nothing else I can say apart from please hit the subscribe button. The support has been massive over Christmas, over this last month of December. We're flying, new heights have been hit, and it's all down to you guys. So thank you massively from the bottom of my heart. And until next time, thank you for watching. Goodbye.